Well, hi there. It's Andrew Bowen here. I hope everyone's well. I'm just jumping online this afternoon, really, to go through. We had a question in the group from Belinda, who is interested in a site in Colchester in the UK. And I promised I would go through the site with her so that she get a better view. She's basically saying that she's never done this sort of stuff before, and she needs a bit of advice, and that's exactly what we do within for members of our Startup a Coffee Shop group. In fact, if you're a member of the Startup a Coffee Shop group, you get unlimited numbers of these site reviews all the time. I'll go through them. A little bit of history about myself and Claire. Well, we are the authors, and Claire's not here at the second, but we are the authors of the best-selling book on how to open a coffee shop. And in fact, I just thought I'd show this to you. Just blow me on trumpet. As we speak, it's number 3 on Amazon in our category. So there it is, look. So yeah, it's don't take my word for it. See what Amazon's got to say. And if you haven't bought our book, then I would suggest the best thing to do is to go and buy it, because actually your investment in your coffee shop is going to be quite a considerable amount. So and a book, particularly our book, John's books, anybody's books really, or most people's books on how to open a coffee shop, definitely worth investing in. And myself and Claire run this group with John Richardson, who is our partner at the Startup a Coffee Shop course. And John is also the author of some best-selling books. In fact, he's actually written 3. Here we are. He's written Wake Up and Smell the Profit. He's written Wake Up and Sell More Coffee, and Setting Up a Coffee Shop. Setting up managing your own coffee shop. In fact, these are the books that we bought, believe it or not, when we opened our coffee shop. So between the 3 of us, we are the undoubtedly we've got some good credentials there. So that's a mystery. Before I came into coffee, I worked for a large retailer. I worked for Tesco, and I opened literally hundreds and hundreds of coffee of sites all over the world, not just in the UK, and developed my model for scoring coffee shops based on that time there. And if you haven't got the book, our book, the Startup a Coffee Shop book, then the Daily Grind, then in the first chapter of that, it's all about setting about the choosing a site, and there's a really useful downloadable spreadsheet which will help you score any site you ever want to look at to see how good it is against any other coffee shop. So we've been busy. The 3 of us actually have been really busy the last few months, believe it or not. And we've worked with literally hundreds of coffee shops all over the world, started and existing coffee shops. And COVID is not a great time to be a coffee shop owner, but it certainly is a good time to open a coffee shop, to plan the opening of a coffee shop, purely because landlords taking a different view now on sites. They're accepting lower offers on sites. We've seen that happen all the time. There are a number of ready-made businesses that are for sale now that haven't been on the market ever. People have decided to leave their their current site or what a life change. So there's businesses, but successful businesses been around for years that are now up for sale. And this site that Belinda has asked me to look at, you'll see that has been a coffee shop or a restaurant previously. So I'm looking at the rent they're asking. It looks like the landlord's taken a good view on it as well. And there's also on top of that, the availability of equipment has never been so strong, because with all these sites closing, these large chains closing, there are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bits of machinery that you would need: ice machines, tables and chairs, even coffee machines if you're prepared to take the gamble, dishwashers, refrigeration, all out there in the auction houses, which you can pick up for pretty much next to nothing. So in this session, I was going to go through with you a detailed site review for Belinda. It's just one of the things that we do in the Startup a Coffee Shop course. The online training course that we do is linked to this site. It is, the other things we cover in it are, the P&L, profitability, budgeting, forecasting, detailed menu design, site layout, equipment selection, routines, processes, staffing, scheduling, marketing, website, social media, community, relations, promotions, productivity. I could go on, but basically the course, this is just one small element of what the stuff we cover in the course. And of course, once you bought the course, you then are eligible to join our private Startup a Coffee Shop members group, where we take people through anything they want. Myself, John, or Claire will answer every single question that people are asking, or in the members who bought the course, we'll answer every single question in the group. So it's a good, cost-effective way to get access to us. And Belinda's really right to ask for this advice, really, because otherwise what happens is that the advice that you get as a new startup, as a coffee shop, as a potential new coffee shop owner or a cafe owner, the advice you're going to get is from people with vested interests. So what I mean by people with vested interests are those people like the landlord who wants to sell you the site, who wants you to lease it because it'll add some value to him. He's missing an income. So he's not the person to tell you how wonderful that site is, how many people walk past it every day, how successful the previous 5 coffee shop owners have been in it. He's not the person to ask. The coffee machine supplier, they're not the person to ask whether it's a good site, because they want to sell you a coffee machine. Roaster, they're not people to ask, because they're going to be able to, they want to sell you the coffee. So anybody that goes to a roaster, I don't know anybody that's been to a roaster or a coffee machine supplier or a landlord has been told, no, this is not the site for you. This is not where you want to open. Because you need to be really careful, because that's what you do. You ask for advice from the people that have got a vested interest. And unfortunately, I spoke to an old client of ours only last week, who has learned a very, very, very tough lesson, in truth, on listening to the wrong people. And it's a bit of a story, but listen to me on this. Just follow me here a second. So here's a story. Peter, and I've changed his name here for feeling embarrassment, really, has run, and we know this person. He's run a really successful coffee shop, cafe actually, for almost 20 years. It's a really well-run business, and he was taking home, it was making him over 100 grand a year. So it's a really strong business. But the story started before COVID, I suppose, when the lease negotiations were ongoing, and he made a decision because he was getting on a bit, didn't want to commit for another 10 years. He thought, right, I probably need to sell, which all of us will have to do at some stage. Whenever you buy a business, none of us are immortal. The amount of people actually think about the end game when they start is very small. That's one of the things we encourage everyone to consider. What is the end game? What is the ultimate? Are you going to open 20 shops? Are you going to open one shop? Are you going to open one shop, 3 shops, and then sell them? What is the plan? You need to really understand that at the beginning. But in fairness, Peter knew what he was doing. He had a really successful business. He'd squirreled away quite a lot of money, and really he was getting close to retirement. But, he had this really good business he didn't want to lose. So what did he do? He went to a property agent, which is probably the thing we would advise you to do if you want to sell your coffee business at some stage. And this agent was all really excited because he's, we're now, this is just at the beginning of COVID, before COVID's announced, really. So this guy's really excited about this site. Yes, an iconic site. It's a local institution. Yes, I'd love to sell it for you. Or in fact, I think it's probably worth £200,000. Fantastic. Peter's over the moon. Well, actually, I've got, a couple of years worth of profit if I can get this in. I've got my money saved. and I can sort of either do something else or just work for someone else, but take a lesser role in a business, perhaps help other people. But ultimately, I don't want all the stress of running this really busy business, because he, in fairness, Peter had never expanded. He was quite happy with what was going. It was a lifestyle business, really. But it was it was a good business anyway. So I'm digressing a little bit, but. So he engaged his agent, who valued the business at just shy of £200,000. Great, we're all thinking, okay. Then COVID came along. And obviously, as we've been saying since the beginning of COVID, it's a great place if you're going to buy a coffee shop at the moment, or a business at the moment. It's not such a great place if you're selling it. So he was between a rock and a hard place. So as COVID moved on, he decided he wanted a quick offer. So he accepted an offer a lot less than that 200,000. In fact, it was probably less than 100,000. He didn't tell me the exact amount, but he said it was less than 100 grand. He was accepted. So he thought, well, actually, I can cope with that because I've got this little pot of money stashed away, and et cetera. So great, he accepted this offer of £100,000 reluctantly. So what did he do then? Yeah, well, of course, he didn't own the property, so he then had to speak to the landlord about transferring the lease. So the landlord's agent then offered that unit to a friend for free because, and now he's not going to get anything. In fact, he's going to get less than nothing. That last 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears put into the business, not only will he have lost all that, he will have to pay, the real horrible thing is he's going to have to pay somebody to come and empty the site and to turn it back into what it was when it first opened. It's called dilapidation. So if you have a look in your leases, you'll see there's always a dilapidation clause that means that you need to put the site back to the position it was in when you first took over. So, making the walls clean, sorting out all the sort of ventilation holes you drilled, or all that sort of stuff. So it's not cheap. And he's got all that equipment, which is worth nothing. So all that blood, sweat, and tears is now worth nothing. But how is this possible? How could this have happened? Well, it's down to the selling agent who gave him the advice. The selling agent, the guy he was paying 5% of the sales price to sell his business, told him that there's no need to sign a new lease. So consequently, this guy's got nothing to sell. He's got somebody who wants to buy it. Great. But because he hasn't got the lease and he's running on what they call tenants in common, no signed lease, he has nothing to sell. So he took advice from somebody who wasn't on his side. And consequently now he is in a really difficult position, really nasty position. So that's the trick. Do not believe what a lot of people will tell you, give you advice, because they have all got an agenda, okay? And you might not realize it. We've seen it time and time again. John talks about it in his books around the rep that comes in and wants to sell him the cheaper piece of ham because it's cheaper, but actually it tastes rubbish. So all that sort of stuff. There's hundreds of people out there, thousands of people out there that will not give you the right advice. We guarantee that we will, there's no hidden agenda with us. The information we give you, you might not like it, but it is from the heart. Okay, right. So let's go to this review. I digressed a little bit there, but I thought it was really important to just share that with you around how important it was to take the right advice. So if we go to Belinda's site now. So this is, if I can get the IT to work. There we are. So there is there's Belinda's site there, or the site that she's thinking of opening. So it's in Colchester. So it looks nice, doesn't it? Looks nice at the beginning. So I'll make it a bit bigger for you. Zoom in. Right. You can see that better now. Okay. So looks nice and it is looks nice on the inside. Looks pretty well fitted out. Looks like it's got a pretty large commercial kitchen, and the location of it is right by the Colchester town station, Magistrates Court, overlooking a busy roundabout junction. Okay, so where St Botolph's Circus meets Southway, 5 minutes walk of Colchester High Street, offering excellent access. So, and it's a decent size. So one of the things we talk about is opening units that are too small. Now this is a good size unit, okay? And it's the ground floor unit. It's actually got a premises license, so you can serve alcohol and do live music, which is good benefit. It doesn't tell you what the business rates are, but they are going to be probably 10, 15 grand a year, I would guess. But it's worth checking because they don't tell you that. All right, so just looking at that on the first site. Now, the first thing I would say on there really is the front of the unit here looks pretty horrible. Obviously, you can paint that, but it hasn't got many. Looks like it was a pub. It was obviously a hotel, I think. Looking at it, it was a hotel at some stage. And you've got the railway station here, and you've got the road up to the main high street there. So my first thoughts about it are that the site of it doesn't look particularly good. You need to spend some money on signage because it doesn't say anything about it is there out there. The color looks a bit horrible as well. Green, don't know what they were thinking there. But inside it's good. Okay, so the actual in-premise is not bad. The actual rent itself, they're looking for £950 per calendar month as a rental. So in reality, less than 12 grand a year, which isn't bad actually per square foot for that sort of unit. Okay, so that was my first view of it. Okay, so let's have a little look about Colchester. So if you look at Colchester, I know from my trips there, it's a relatively affluent area. It is fairly young as well, and unemployment is pretty high. So it's in terms of Colchester as a town, as a place to open. Then yes, it's very white, but it is pretty young, and a good proportion of skilled manual workers and higher managerial workers as well. So it is a younger city than you would normally than a typical English county town. Okay. So have a look at where it's located as well. So this is so it's actually located just around there. If you can see my, and you've got the railway station here. This here is the railway station car park. Okay. And this is the main town centre here. So it's really on a rat run. I describe it as being between the town centre and the station. Okay, so that would be my first concern in terms of where its location, because it is on a rat run. So it's on a place where people are on a journey from one place to another. It's not necessarily a destination. Okay, so that's my first negative about it. And again, if you look at it through the eyes of through you can see it says the same thing. There's the car park there. You can see, some nice park opposite. It's just on the edge. It's just on the edge, so it's on a bit of a rat run. And look at it from the outside. That's what Google Maps are showing at the moment of it. So it looks a completely different color now to what it was before. Okay, so where are we? There we are. So, okay, and there's the railway station. There's the magistrate's court. Okay, and there's a really busy roundabout by the look of it. So, hasn't got any room for outside seating, which would be one negative. And actually looking at this, you can see it's not painted green here, but at least painted white. Obviously, not sure when Google Maps took this photo, but you can see that it's changed hands at least once in the last few years. Not sure what's happening with the hotel above, whether that's still a hotel or not. If that was a hotel, then that would be a benefit. If they're thinking about turning into flats, then it's not so much of a benefit. If it was a hotel, then you could potentially do some sort of deal with the hotel in terms of provide the restaurant for them and the breakfast for them. But my guess is that it's not likely to be that. So in terms of how many people go past at any one time, if you look on Google Maps has got this fantastic ability to tell you how busy somewhere is or how many people are in a certain location at any certain time. So what I would normally do, I'd look at Colchester Barber Shop here and then click search for it. And then of course it tells you when it's busy. But because it's closed and and we're still in lockdown here in the UK, it's not giving you that information. But that's the first thing I would do, just see the sort of what the customer flow is like. You go to a local business that is open, and obviously this Chinese restaurant that's next door to it is closed as well, so it's difficult. So my next port of call will be to the Colchester railway station. I always got Colchester wrong there, but you can see on here it's given as you'd expect, it's busy in the morning, quieter now, and then quiet come off, quieter later in the afternoon, busier a bit later in the afternoon, and quietens off. The thing is with railway stations, people are rushing to get there. They're always waiting for the train on the way, and there is something on the station as well. Actually, there is a coffee shop or a cafe or some sort of, according to the Google, there is some stuff on the railway station. So. It's really, really hard when you're running a coffee. You think that it's great because you have all these people coming into your place, past your place on the way to come and see you. Then on the way past because they're going to catch a train. But in reality, they won't pop in because they're rushing. They're worried about. They're really worried about missing the train. Most people are. Most people aren't massively organised, believe it or not. They rather get to within sight of the train than queue for it because you're not quite within sight of the station, or you're just right on the edge, right on the cusp of it. So I don't think that you would pick that many. You would need to try quite hard, I think, and to catch these people in. You would need to make sure your service was fast as well for these customers in the morning. So I'm not saying it's not a potential, but there is a potential to get some customers on the way out of town. At the moment, obviously, nobody's going into London, are they? But when things hopefully get back to normal, you'll see that people will start going back to town. So at the moment, so don't guarantee. So basically, you have a bit of a chance of getting some of these morning people, but in the evening, you get very little chance of getting these people because they're knackered. They're coming home from work. They come home late. You'll be closing anyway, unless you want to open late and change it into some sort of late night cafe pizza place. But because of its location where it is, it's not something. It's not an aspirational location. Although you got a nice free car park at the back, you'd have to do some real good work with the outside to make it look good. Because at the moment, it doesn't look particularly great. So, in short. Okay, it's big enough. You're going to save some money because of the setup. All right, because it's already got a fitted kitchen in it. The floor looks nice. The air conditioning looks nice. You've got air conditioning. So that you could probably open that. I don't know how much is included in the sale, but in truth, you've got a ready-made business there to go. It's just this location isn't that. For me. It's not. You'd have to work really hard to get people in there, and I would ask the question of the landlord: how many other people have failed, or how many times has this place changed hands in the last few years as well? with a landlord, because you're missing that outside space. Outside space there is really important. You won't want to sit outside really. Even if you could put a couple of seats outside, you wouldn't necessarily want to sit by that busy roundabout and get choked with car fumes. So overall, I think it's worth investigating. Okay. I think you would definitely need to spend some money on advertising and remarketing the place and redecorating, relaying out. Excuse me. It doesn't necessarily suit itself as a coffee shop. It's more of a restaurant, more of a cafe. If I just show you one thing I haven't shown you actually is the where are we going here? So just looking where the car park is. So if you want to go into the car park, so just I didn't show you that very easily. So basically, so you look at the front of the site there. That's your place. That's the place you're thinking about there. Okay, you've got the this side. You've got the railway station. Interesting. I would also find out, Belinda, what is going on with this here. I don't know how old this is and what this looks like now. It says it was to let. I'm not sure whether it's these units here or that or whatever, but I'd definitely find out what's going on with that. The access to the car park, unfortunately, is this little road here. People will come down. This is the cut through from the car park, as far as I can make out. So they'd have to drive in around here, in through here, into the station car park, and you've got your cut through there, which is the side of your house there, side of your business there. So there's an opportunity there. I would talk to the landlord about signage, having some signage there. He obviously holds hotel, cafe, restaurant. He's obviously done some stuff there, but it all looks cheap and cheerful, really. It doesn't, your bin and everything, it doesn't look particularly nice, in truth. I wouldn't feel particularly safe in here in the evening either. This area doesn't feel a safe place to come in the evening either. I'm not sure. I might be giving Colchester a bad name there, but this is so one thing you have got on your in your benefit is you've got this big car park. I'm guessing that this will be pretty much full during the daytime with commuters normally, but it is a nice good car park for you as well. So that's there's some good pluses, but there's also a few minuses. The only way I would take this, if it was me, I was local, I would. The great thing is that it's ready. It's pretty much ready to rock. Okay, pretty much ready to rock. I wouldn't consider that as. I would still consider spending some money on it. So although it's ready to rock, you could open it as something. I would definitely consider having some money in your budget, having a good amount of money to redecorate the frontage, put some nice signage up, bringing the inside up to date a little bit, because it looks, like it's, I'm not sure. You could do with a designer in there. They've obviously done a few things, but I don't think there's a proper designer. A proper designer would make that look really good. You've got this kitchen area here. That obviously would make a nice counter. Well, I would definitely, and you've got your bar there as well. Or I'd definitely look at getting a designer in. So I'd put some money in your budget for a good designer who could actually make this space work better. There's a lot of wasted space here. You've got you've got your commercial kitchen at the back, taking up a lot of space. You've got this long bar area as well, taking up a lot of space here. So there's a lot of you need seating space in coffee shops. You need somewhere to sit down and work. So there's a lot of positives there. The negatives of the outside doesn't look very attractive, but you'd have to work on that. The location, it's on a rat run. I don't think there'd be much evening business there. But I tell you what I would do with this. I would approach the landlord, and the only way I would take this would be on a rent that was linked to my sales. Okay. So it would be a sales related rent. That's the only way I would take this. So how that works is that you agree to pay the landlord a percentage of your net sales. So, and again, I would start with, how I would approach that is I would go to the landlord with a business plan, which obviously we could help you produce. And in fact, the last couple of weeks, we've done a couple of business plans for people who are going to landlords who want to get a lease on something, it's important to go to a landlord with to show you are professional and you've got a vision, and for you to be able to share what you want. And then the more you can do that, the better deal you're likely to get from the landlord as well. So I would definitely look at doing that. So I would go to the landlord with a really nice business plan of what you want to do, because this guy, you are going to add value to what's going to be above here. Okay, it might have been a property developer bought the whole lot. It might be owned by a company that's had it for years. It might be a family that's owned the hotel for years. They've obviously got an empty unit underneath it. That empty unit has obviously been empty a few times in the past, had change of owners. They're looking for somebody who could take that on for the long term. But the only way I would take that on for the long term, if I was you, would have a sales-related rent. And I would sort of start the negotiation at about 6% of my sales with them. So then the pain is shared. All right. So that's probably the only way I would consider that. But definitely worth a look, a viewing. When you go to see a landlord, just remember that you're an agent. Just remember you're selling yourself. Okay, people want confidence. The landlord wants confidence that you are the right person to lease out that business, that space to. So the more you can take them a really nice business plan with some projections, the more comfort they will get from that, and the more likely they are to take you seriously. Okay, so that is definitely what I would do. Okay, but if you guys are new to what we do and new to I hope that was helpful, Belinda. Give us some comments in the stream when you see this. I'm not sure whether you're actually live watching it now, but if you like if this sort of support you're looking for, then this is the tip of just a very, very, very large iceberg with the three of us supporting over 100 years of experience. Is embarrassing really in the coffee shop and cafe space. John, Claire and myself, that's what we do day in, day out. And of course, if you want to work with us, you can. We have got. I know John's really busy at the moment. We've actually got one space available for people to work for us on a one-to-one, but it's not cheap. We start at £6 for a year's project. So if you want to work, by all means, drop a note in the comments column or drop me a direct message, and we can talk about it. And I know we're definitely worth it, because it's not, we know that we can save you many, many, many times that amount of money by working with us. For instance, just before lockdown, we saved the client over £7,000 just on one visit. Okay, and I know John has got hundreds of stories the same as that, and we are 100% focused on this industry. Remember what I said to you earlier around taking the notice of people who are working on your best interests, not the agents, not the landlords, not the suppliers. All right, we are 100% focused on this, and believe it or not, there's even freelancers that write books. So when I said about it's worth reading as many books as you can, just be careful, because there's a couple of books out there that are just being written by freelancers, and when you look them up. Look at their credentials. They've never run a coffee shop in their life. In fact, they've written 15 books on how to catch fish at night. How to be a trawler manager. How to learn to bowl. I don't know, but there's just watch out there. So don't buy. As I said at the beginning, buy all our books. Yeah, great. Buy our books. Buy John books. Buy as many books as you can. Because if you are interested, if you really want to. If you seriously want to open a coffee shop or cafe, then you really need to do your research. And the reason we've developed this course, this Startup a Coffee Shop course, is because we know that if you're on a really tight budget, we know that there are a lot of people out there who are on a really tight budget who can't afford paying the £6,000. Okay. but we don't want them. We don't want you guys to fail. We want to be able to help you, support you on your journey. And there's so many little decisions that you're going to make on your coffee shop journey. Okay, so many that will take you off track. You know, they'll take you off budget, and they might even take you on the road to disaster without you even knowing it. You know, pilots have got a name for it. They call it the 1 in 60 rule. So if you're 1 degree off as a pilot, in 60 miles flying, you're, you know, probably less than a minute in a commercial plane. You're a mile off course. So if you make those small errors on lots of different decisions you're making in the start of your coffee shop, these compound errors become massive issues, and that's what we help you with the course in particular. So the cost of opening even the smallest cafe is not insignificant. You know, 10. I've seen one done for 10 grand. I've seen some done for 25 grand. Okay, but even that is, you know, even that's a very nice. Even at the bottom end, it's a nice car. And some people we work with spend, you know, at the top end, it's as much as a Rolls Royce. You know, it's that much money you invest into it. So getting it right is critical. And hopefully you've invested in our books, as I said. And the course, you know, the start of a coffee shop course is £99. It's just £99. It is the next step. If you read the books, if you're on this, if you're trawling the internet, joining groups like ours, if you want to really take the next step and get the information you need to plan to open a new coffee shop or a cafe anytime this year, or whether it's 2021, 2022, it's £99 for the course, which is, you know, is nothing. You'll spend that. You know, you'll spend that on your Sky. Some people I know spend that on their Sky subscription every month. Some people buy, you know, pay more on their mobile phone every month. So, you know, it's £99 to buy the course. You get a free month of our in our private Facebook group, where we answer every single question in the group to you. Okay. And then if you want to carry on with that group, it's additional £30 a month, but you don't need to pay that. You can pay your £99 and then stop your ongoing membership, but get a free month in our membership course, which is by far and away the cheapest way of tapping into the knowledge of myself, John, and Claire. You know, we are on your side. We want you to succeed. We want you to become our long-term customers as you grow, potentially, as you want to expand, as you want to open site number 2, as you want to perhaps, you know, redevelop site 1, as you want to perhaps sell up in a few years' time, which is something, you know, we will help you with as well, getting you ready for sale. So go to Start Our Coffee Shop course. So let me show you inside the course a little bit. Shall I show you our course? Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a, right, am I in the members? Right, let me just show you. I'll just log in a second here. I'll show you what's available, okay? So there we are. That's the front page of the course, okay? You get access to, this is the button, you just quickly join the private Facebook group here, and you'll get straight into our private Facebook group, which you can't access unless you are a member of the course, okay? And this is where we answer every single question. So we talk you through how much money you're going to make, and each video, each section has got its own specially recorded video, basically from the videos we did when we used to run the startup, the coffee shop boot camp in London, which we did before COVID. So you've got, here we are. Let me stop there. So every single one of these has got a specially, and this stuff isn't available anywhere else on the internet. Okay, it's not available on YouTube. This is stuff we save for our private clients. Okay, so this is a session here. I've got the session I do on choosing a location, which goes into finite detail around how do you open a site.
Number one reason people.
There we are. I'll stop that. And then it's got downloadable resources here, coffee shop checklist. We've also got a way of working out how much any site will take. So if you want to work out how much any site will take, we've got a tried and tested process that will take you through the steps you can work out how much a site will take. So it is, the best course out there for you to join. So what you need to do now is go over to Start of a Coffee Shop Buy, okay? And I'll just put that in here. Go over to the course, all right? And we've got a special deal, actually. I almost forgot that, all right? So you can join the course for £99 plus VAT today, okay, and get a free month. And then if you want to carry on with the private group, you then pay £30 a month. However, we've now got this cracking deal at the moment. If you want to, and you can save over a year, you can save £165 by getting the monthly membership fee for the private group for only £15 a month, but you need to pay that annually. So if you want to join, great, join. If you want to save this, if you want to join and you're serious about and you want our support for a whole year in the private group, then just click on the button at the top and it'll take you to the extra page where it'll do the new rules group discount and you can join there. So I hope that's really helped. I hope this is a bit of a taster for all the stuff and the level of detail that we go to in the group. I hope you've enjoyed a little view under the bonnet of the Startup Members Group and what we do. And please consider, asking more information in this group if you need any help. But one thing, if you're going to spend thinking about opening a coffee shop, okay, or a cafe, then you really must invest in our course, okay, the Startup a Coffee Shop course that will take you through everything you need to know on how to open a coffee shop. It really is the best and simplest way of getting our expertise and hundreds now, it was 100 a minute ago, but hundreds of years of experience and support. So go ahead. The links will be in the comments. So click on the links, find out more. If you've got any questions at all, put them in the comments and we'll answer them later. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, Belinda, and speak soon. Bye-bye.